All right, everybody, how's it going? It is Tuesday, September 24th, 2024, and of course, we just finished with week 3 of the NFL. So what's next? What's next? What comes after 3? Of course, it's the number 4, so let's go on to week 4. Real quick, week 3 did not go good for me. I went 7-9, a little better than 6-10, but still pretty bad. The beginning of the NFL year is always kind of weird. The first few weeks are like, all right, is this team good? Nope, they're actually bad. Oh wait, no, they're actually good. Things are up and down. You don't really see teams like Carolina suddenly just blowing a team out, or you know what I mean. You just like you don't see the Commanders suddenly like having this dynamic offense in week 3. Just like little things that you just don't see coming, or the Bengals being as bad as they are, possibly the Jaguar. Like, you figure things out and you're like, all right, now we know what things really actually look like heading into week 4. Anyway, a little bit better. Yeah, so hopefully we do better this week. We'll see how it plays out. Hopefully we have another 500, or maybe we pick games over 500 this time, maybe. But as per usual, make sure you leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you're new around here, and leave your picks and all that down below. The comments are the most important thing. I like to see what you're picking. I like to see how you're doing on your picks, so leave those things behind. We're almost a quarter way through the season already. I can't believe it, week 4. But yeah, leave a like, leave some comments. That helps the channel a ton. Subscribe. If you want more NFL stuff, Thursday I'll be releasing my power rankings and all that fun stuff. So yeah, let's get into the actual stuff that matters here. Right? Here's our picks record. Need a little drink of some pop. Yeah, we went 7-9, another bad one. We're 23-25, terrible record, but we'll see if we can turn it around this week, get back up over 500. So let's jump into Thursday Night Football. We got a division matchup, 8:15 p.m. The Cowboys take on the Giants. Both teams are 1-2. The Cowboys coming off a loss, Giants coming off a win versus the Browns. The Cowboys are 4.5-point favorites with an over-under of 43.5. I think the Giants winning is more of a statement on the state of the Browns right now and how bad their offense has been. Because apparently the Browns had multiple chances to win that game at the end. And it sort of fell into one of them situations where it was like, oh, they just keep blowing it. And if you look at the Dallas game, if Dallas had gotten like 1 or 2 more chances versus the Ravens, it looks like they were going to have a full-on comeback. So it's kind of one of them things where it's like, well, Dallas looked bad the last 2 weeks, but it seems like they figured out what they were doing wrong and kind of reversed the game versus the Ravens. So that's something I think actually to think about. Like, all right, maybe Dallas has figured out how to play, what their team's going to be like. Because again, that second half versus the Ravens, very good. Again, the Giants looked all right. But again, I think they won that game more because the Browns lost and not because they played well and won the game. They don't look great. You know, Daniel Jones ain't good. I would imagine the Cowboys defense shuts these guys down, and the Giants defense doesn't really do much to. Well, they can probably slow them down, but I don't know. I'm just going to take the Cowboys. This is surprisingly going to be a good game. The New Orleans Saints take on the Atlanta Falcons. Falcons are 1.5-point favorites with an over-under of 42.5. Saints coming off their first loss, 15-12. And the Falcons coming off a very, very close game with the Chiefs. There was some controversy for some people. 22-17, the Chiefs won. So the biggest question is Atlanta real, or was that like a weird mirage, those first 2 games? Are they more like the team that only scored 12 versus the Eagles, or are they the team that was putting up 40 a game? Or is there somewhere in between that they're going to fall into? Not really sure. That's one of the annoying parts about week 1, right? Or the first 3 weeks. It's like, oh, Atlanta looks really good. Philly doesn't look as good as them. Saints should win. Or New Orleans, and then New Orleans loses to the Eagles and doesn't look good at all. But I'm looking at the Falcons defense going, they have as good a defense as the Eagles, if not maybe a little bit better. Just didn't like thinking of like random things like just like the Jesse Bates, Judon, and all those other people that kind of build up on that defense. And it's like, well, I can see them shutting down the Saints, which are a pretty limited offense. The Chiefs, the Atlanta defense did do pretty good versus Mahomes and company, which is a much better offense than what the Saints are going to be bringing to town. The Saints are home in a division game, so that kind of, or the Falcons are home in this division game, so that gives the Falcons a little bit more leeway. Yeah, I don't know. The Eagles haven't looked super impressive this year, but at the same point, I don't know. I'm feeling Falcons. If this game was in New Orleans, I'd probably go Saints. But because it's in Atlanta, I think that's why I'm leaning that way. Plus, again, Atlanta looked really good versus the Chiefs. So These were the two of the more shocking games from last week, and now they're playing each other. The Cincinnati Bengals take on the Carolina Panthers. Bengals minus 4.5 with an over/under of 47.5. The Bengals lost to the Commanders 38-33, showing they really don't have much of a defense. The Commanders, I think, Jaden Daniels completed like 91% of his passes, which set the rookie record held by Dak Prescott, of all people. I bet you didn't know that. Maybe you did. And then the Panthers beat the shit out of the Raiders 36-22. Andy Dalton popped off, had a big ass game. Looks like he revived himself for at least a week or two, so we'll probably get another good week out of Dalton. Revenge game against the Bengals, so you always like those odds. Carolina's at home. I would imagine because the way the Bengals defense has been playing and the way that the Panthers offense looked last week, there's going to be some kind of weird dissonance where the Bengals defense won't play that well and the Panthers offense will look like they did last week for at least this week, because there is really no rhyme or reason to what just happened, and maybe they have the element of surprise in Carolina. It's like, but wait, how does Andy Dalton function on this team really quick? And you have to kind of quickly figure that out. And meanwhile, you know what I mean? The Bengals defense is struggling, so it's gonna be one of the things where they can't really pick it up because they're already struggling. Then they have to deal with the fact that this team changed a little bit and they actually looked really good. So what are they doing right? And there's like those weird things that kind of compound and could lead to quite the little upset. I'm going Carolina. The Rams take on the Bears. The Bears are 3-point favorites with an over/under of 40.5. Both teams 1-2. Both teams coming off of losses. No, wait, never mind. The Rams won their game. They had their first win. That's right. They actually beat the 49ers 27-24, which is why I'm leaning towards the Rams in this one. I don't know. Their offense looks all right despite losing, pretty much their whole offense. So I think that's a big thing. I think the 49ers have a slightly better defense than Chicago does. And again, it feels like the Bears really haven't played anybody. I don't know why I think that. It's like, who have they played? They played, you know what I mean? And it's like, they're 1-2. They lost to the Colts, who don't look good, really that good at all this year. I don't know. And the Rams offense looks all right. It looks like it's functioning despite losing everybody. The Bears offense still doesn't look great, and I think the Rams defense can do enough to kind of shut that down. Give me the Rams over the Bears. Pretty easy decision. Jordan Love will be back for this game. Minnesota Vikings take on the Green Bay Packers. Packers are 2.5-point favorites with an over/under of 43.5. Obviously, Minnesota is 3-0 somehow, so they won last week 34-7 versus the Texans. And the Packers are 2-1. They beat the Titans 30-14. So the way I'm looking at this game is, for whatever reason, it seems like the Packers win in Minnesota, and Minnesota will often win in Green Bay. There's like this weird flip-flop thing that happens, where I wouldn't be too shocked if Minnesota takes this one, especially because Love will probably be not the most mobile, not the most agile. He's coming off an injury, so there's going to be like that raw element. And maybe if he doesn't play, then there's no shot Green Bay wins, because I would imagine Brian Flores is cooking up quite the game plan for this, especially for maybe less than mobile Jordan Love. Take advantage of that. We've seen how well Minnesota was able to kind of just shut down the Houston Texans. I would imagine a similar game plan will be applied for Green Bay. And again, Minnesota's offense has been white hot lately. It seems like no one really knows how to stop the Darnold-led Vikings. It's just one of them things where it's like Minnesota's playing a really hot version of football. So is Green Bay. But I feel like with Brian Flores dialing up a game plan against the offense with a returning quarterback from a knee injury, I really like Minnesota to kind of take that game off of defensive strategy, and the fact that this is a weird division thing where they flip-flop. They always win at each other's homes is super disrespectful. All right, that's that. What are our next games? Oh boy, this one's easy. Jaguars take on the Texans. Texans are 6.5-point favorites with an over/under of 45.5. We just talked about the Texans. They're going to be out for blood after that loss. Jaguars are probably about to go 0-4 because 47-10 they lost to the Bills. Yeesh. So I'm going to go with the Texans over the Jaguars, 24-14, something like that. Easy win for Houston. Pittsburgh Steelers take on the Indianapolis Colts. The Steelers are 1.5-point favorites with an over/under of 39.5. Steelers are 3-0 after another win. They just keep on winning. 20-10 versus the Chargers, though the Chargers did lose Herbert, and I'm not sure how long he's going to be out for, or if he is at all. Not too sure. And the Colts, they won 21-16 versus The Bears. It shouldn't say Colts. It should say Bears. Already talked about that one. Yeah, I think the Indianapolis Colts the Colts offense has been super inconsistent, rather streaky. It's still kind of trying to find itself. And I think running into the Pittsburgh Steelers defense right now is probably the worst thing for a team like Indianapolis. They could get their asses kicked in this game and lose like 13-0. But I don't predict shutouts, so 17-13 is something I'm thinking. I think the Steelers dominate this game via defense. The offensive part of the Steelers is irrelevant. They'll score enough points to win. That's kind of how their season's been going. The real question is if the Colts can get consistent on offense, they may be a decent team. But again, the Steelers right now are the worst team to run into when you're trying to build a consistent offense, because they're just going to be bulldozing. Denver Broncos take on the New York Jets. Both teams coming off wins. The Jets are favored by 7 with an over-under of 38.5. Broncos finally got a big win, 26-7 versus the Buccaneers. It kind of shows that the Bucs are a fraudulent 2-1, and the Lions probably should have won that game. But whatever. But the Jets beat the Patriots by some score. We don't even got to talk about that. I shouldn't have put the actual score there. I'm an idiot. Yeah, I like the Jets here though. Their defense is really good. It looks like it kind of fired up and started figuring itself out against the Patriots last week. It looks like their offense has figured itself out. That running back that they have outside of Breece Hall, I think he's very good. They have good receiving situations going on with Aaron Rodgers. He looks to have kind of figured it back out, got his stuff going. Seems to be a lot more relaxed and less stiff after his injury, so that's good. And the Jets are starting to look like the team I thought they'd be in the preseason and kind of the thing I thought they'd be in the offseason. They look good, quick, defense is good, they're high energy. It's going to be tough to beat. I don't know if a rookie-led quarterback or rookie-led rookie-led Broncos, is going to be enough to go into New York and beat that team. It's going to be hostile. I don't know. I'm going to take the Jets based on their defense and the way their offense looked. So could be a good game though. I wouldn't be shocked. All right, final 1 o'clock game. We have the Philadelphia Eagles taking on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Eagles are 2.5-point favorites with an over/under of 44.5. Eagles coming off a win we talked about. Buccaneers coming off a loss. We already talked about it. We just talked about it. So for this one, I like the Eagles to win. Mainly because Tampa Bay should probably be 1-2. The last 2 games, they looked really bad versus the Broncos, and they shouldn't have beat the Lions. The Lions lost that game. The Lions had like 3 chances or something to win that game with like 3 minutes left, and they blew each time. They could have literally kicked field goals and won, but Detroit's coaching was being stupid. So I don't know. I don't really see Tampa's been kind of as a lucky 2-1. Their offense has been super off this year. The O-line is terrible. I would imagine Philadelphia is going to take advantage of that, blitz the shit out of them, and kind of just shut down any chance for them to stay in the game. Kind of what the Broncos did, just blitz the hell out of them and score enough points to win. Get your revenge for the playoffs. I think this was the playoff game. Anyway, 4 o'clock games. The Washington Commanders take on the Arizona Cardinals. Cardinals are 3.5-point favorites with an over/under of 50.5. I'll be honest, I don't care about this game. The Commanders are 2-1. They beat the Bengals. We talked about that. Cardinals lost to the Lions 20-13. I think this game, I like the Cardinals to win because despite the Cardinals losing like that, I do think they have one of the better offenses in the NFL. And the Lions just happen to have one of the better defenses in the NFL. We've seen that for a few weeks now. And with the Commanders, they did score 38 points, so they'll probably be able to hang in this game. But they also gave up 33 to the Bengals offense that was looking like dog shit all game. Like the Bengals never had like anything going, but they still put up 33 points. So I would imagine an offense like Arizona that's been clicking and looking really good, except for one game, will get it together, look really good against the defense that wasn't really great. And we'll see how the Commanders' rookie-led defense or rookie-led offense looks against an Arizona defense that was really good against the Lions in the second half. So I can imagine the Cardinals defense giving fits to the rookie quarterback, and I can imagine that the Cardinals offense can just kind of outpace the Commanders. Oh, upset pick of the week, huh? The New England Patriots. I have them winning $1 million against the San Francisco 49ers, minus 100,000. The 49ers are 10-point favorites because they're cowards. And the over-under is 39.5. The Patriots lost is not important. Let's focus on real things like famine and drought. People are addicted to things that aren't good. You know, the 49ers lost hilariously. They got owned. They looked like shit. They lost to their protege. But they'll probably win this game. All right. Yeah, I pick in the 49ers. I hope that it was obvious. I don't like picking against my team. I'm going to be a big baby about it all year. Kansas City Chiefs versus the Los Angeles Chargers. Chiefs are 7.5-point favorites with an over-under. I'm not even going to finish. I'm picking the Chiefs in this one because if the Chargers don't have Justin Herbert, like it seems like I don't know if he's going to play this week. If he does, then I still pick the Chiefs. If he doesn't, like I'm not picking Easton Stick. So this game's kind of like in a review status where I have to like wait and see. But based on what I know, the Chargers are super banged up after that Steelers game, and the Chiefs are in really good shape. The Chiefs are playing better football than the Chargers, so I would imagine Kansas City wins this game either way, but I don't know enough about the quarterback situation to make a good pick. So I'm going to go with the Chiefs. Based on I don't think Herbert's playing. Cleveland Browns take on the Las Vegas Raiders, two of the most confusing teams in all the league. The Browns are 1.5-point favorites with an over-under of 37.5. Genuinely had no idea how to pick this one. Both these teams are coming off hilarious losses. Browns could have won. Raiders couldn't have won. They got Andy Dalton. I'm gonna go with the Raiders because I think I got no reason to pick the Raiders. If I'm being honest, I just think the Browns are playing dog shit football. They could have beat the Giants like 6 times and they blew it each time. I think the Browns are broken, so I'm gonna go with the Raiders. I think there needs to be a coaching change in Cleveland, which is hilarious because that was the alleged coach of the year last year who just signed a bunch of bad quarterbacks and got really lucky Joe Flacco hit. It's like, really? So that guy who signed all them bad players got rewarded for that because one of them wasn't bad? That's cool. Should have been Dan Campbell, but whatever. I'm going to go with the Raiders because the Browns they just look really bad right now. I hope that was the right pick. All right, the Buffalo Bills. Oh, this is going to be a good game. Buffalo Bills take on that's a really good game, actually. Take on the Baltimore Ravens. Ravens are 1.5-point favorites with the over-under of 46.5. Why are they favored? Bills won 47-10 versus the Jags. The Ravens almost blew it again versus the Cowboys, 28-25. Just with the way that the Buffalo Bills have been playing, they've scored like 30 points, 47 points. Their defense has been shutting people the fuck down all season. It really feels, except for I think that first game. Well, actually, the first 2 games were shootouts, but then they blew the Jaguars out. That's right. I forgot. I was like, wait a minute. They played 2 games versus Arizona and another team, and it was really close. Yeah, that's right. I can't remember who they played for. I know one was Arizona, and the other one I just can't remember off the top of my head. I'm sorry. But anyway, Buffalo can play in shootouts. They've proven it. They can win those. They can score a lot of points. They can score at will this year. Their offense looks really good, kind of like I thought it would. Their defense is the part that's surprising me, especially. They should completely shut those dudes down. But the Ravens will probably score. They'll be able to stay in this game. They'll keep it close. There's something weird about the Ravens this year where I don't see their offense as like good as it has been, nor do I think their defense has been as good as it usually is. Maybe it's because it's early in the year and they'll slowly click in. But if if Dallas had gotten another possession or 2, they might have lost that game and they'd be 0-3. And no one would be thinking this is a good matchup. You know what I mean? But we'll give them the benefit of the doubt. I think the Ravens and Bills this is going to be a good game. I think the Bills win this game because, again, their offense is way too hot. Their defense is playing pretty well all of a sudden. And now we have the Ravens, who haven't been playing the best football this year, but they're still a good team and they'll eventually click in, but win. This is probably the worst version of the Bills to run into right now. Right now, to me, Allen may be MVP. I'm not sure. I'd have to look. That's annoying. Remember, I predicted Lions-Bills Super Bowl, just so we remind everybody. Anyway, let's go to Monday Night Football. We got 2 games again for some reason. I'm not really sure why. I'll just put them both up there because the first game, I don't give a shit about this game. The Tennessee Titans take on the Miami Dolphins in a shit bowl. The Titans are 1.5-point favorites with an over-under of 36.5. Somehow we haven't talked about the Seahawks yet. The Dolphins lost to the Seahawks 24-3. Titans lost to the Packers 30-14. No one was surprised about either one of these games. Somebody has to win one of these games. I'm going to go with the Dolphins because the Titans suck. And the Dolphins could be good if they figure out the quarterback situation. But basically, yeah, I don't care about this game. The next game is the game we all care about. 8:15, the Lions play the Seahawks. This is a good rivalry game. The last few years, this game's been pretty fucking good. Seahawks come to Detroit for this one. It's Lions are favored by 4.5 with an over-under of 46.5. Both teams coming off wins. So my thought process here and why I think Detroit finally beats Seattle is no more Pete Carroll. I think he's been the X factor in this little series, in this rivalry. I think it's been Pete Carroll, kind of like the reason they pull these games out. They're always close. It always seems like a coaching thing that they pull it out. I think Campbell might be still a little bit better than McDonald. I'm hoping they actually can pull this off, right? Detroit's defense is better than it's ever been playing Seattle. Our offense is a little shaky, but that's okay. It's still pretty good. It's starting to click. Seattle is playing really good football. Their offense looks great. Their defense looks pretty solid. I can't really tell playing fucking Skylar Thompson though. Again, so this is going to be a good game. Probably really close. Going to come down to a few points. I think the coaching was the X factor the last couple years. I'm going to go with the Lions over the Seahawks. Finally. I think it happens. Plus, I think the Ford Field factor will really be the deciding factor potentially. So I'm going to go with the Lions. Very close, good game. I hope so. All right, that's the end of the picks this week. So that was good. I think that's a pretty sizable chunk of the games down. Next week is the official start of bye week, so we won't have a full slate of games to go over. I think 4 teams are off, so there will be only 14 games. I think it's like the Lions are off right away, which they kind of need. Yeah, that pretty much seals the deal for me. And I know the Lions got injuries, but they played with the injuries happened in the game, and they were still shutting it down. But anyway, thank you so much for listening. I appreciate it. If you made it this far, make sure you go like, subscribe, leave your picks and all that fun stuff down below. As always, I appreciate you listening all the way through. Hopefully you have a good rest of your day, night, mid-morning, mid-afternoon, midday, 11 to 4 p.m. or dusk, dawn, twilight, other stuff. Either way, just have a good one whenever you listen. I hope you take it easy. As always, can't believe week 4 is done, down the drain, in the tubes. And we're out of here. Have a good one. Peace out. And as always, it's go Lions, go Tigers, and of course, go Patriots, even though we suck again. Well, not really. We just need an O-line.